everyone, welcome to Watercolor Bible Journaling. I am Bonnie Krebs, creator of this technique, and this week I am here to show you one of our newest releases. This is the scroll set. I'm going to show you how to put this into your Bible and how to stamp it in your Bible. I love this because number one, you can see through it, so you can see where the lines are, so it's easier to write your own thoughts and words into this area. And it's not theme specific, so you can use it in every area of your Bible. It's going to fit. The other nice thing about this is I've stamped it on the right side of my Bible. However, you can flip it over and stamp it on the left as well. So it works either way. So what we're going to need for this project is, of course, the scroll set. We're going to use the long one right here. All of these work the same way. So everything I'm showing you in this video is going to work with all of these other scrolls as well. In the foliage set, so this is the very first foliage set, we're going to use this little branch here. In the flower set, the little filler flower, this one. And then one more, we're going to use this foliage that's in our foliage set for us. This is in our watercolor line, same exact technique. And this is from that set. However, you can, if you don't have that one, you can go back to the Bible foliage one and you can use this one here. So they're really, really versatile. And I'd like to show you different things that you can do, but you can also go back to your original sets and substitute those in there first. Okay, so let's get started on this project. I'm going to take this one away and bring a new one over here. And I'm just stamping this in Psalms because, like I said, this one is not theme specific and you can stamp it anywhere that you want to stamp something beautiful. So my page is prepped. I've used my watercolor ground. So that would be this one here, the golden absorbent ground. I've prepped my page with that and buffed it out. So I've used a cloth and I've buffed it out so that it's smooth and it's all ready to go. So we're going to start out by stamping the image, and this is it right here. We're going to ink it in two colors. So we're going to start out with the dark blue. This is number 565, and I'm using Tombow markers. And I'm just going to ink this whole thing up. I'm using the side of my marker and just going over all of these lines. And then I'm going to come back over it again with another color. So this is a dark brown, 969. This is going to give us a really nice blend of color. It makes things look a little more three-dimensional, more like it's an actual thing and not a picture of a thing. That makes sense? So now I'm going to stamp this off. I don't want anything too dark and I don't want too much ink onto my page. So I'm going to stamp it off, and now I'm going to stamp that scroll into my Bible, just like that. So that's the first step, and that's the easiest one. And actually, all the other steps are pretty easy too. So we're gonna start out just by pulling the color from the lines, and I'm gonna bring in my water here. So I've got a little cup of water and my brush, and I'm just gonna pinch it off. And I'm gonna start by just pulling the color out of the lines. And the ground, so the absorbent ground kind of works so that your Bible page is like watercolor paper, and it will blend this ink, and you'll see that it will start to look three-dimensional. And because we use those two colors on here, we're going to get a really nice blend of color. And these lines in here are all made to add color. So it doesn't take much. And what I'm doing is actually pulling this color to the outside as well. Just kind of follow these lines with your brush. Now you can leave it like this. You don't necessarily have to add any flowers and foliage to it. I like to beautify everything, and so I tend to add as many flowers and foliages as I can, but you don't have to do that. You can just leave it simple like this and maybe brush in a little color to the background and call it good. Okay, so that's the first step. We're ready to continue on. And we're going to start out by inking that foliage. So the nice thing about stamping is that you can ink the parts that you want to use. And I'm only going to ink to here. I don't need this whole stem. And I'm just going to ink part of it and just stamp it in here a couple of times. And then I'm going to come back down here and do the same. And then I'm going to put another one in here And then before I go on and add any water to that, I'm going to, let me put this so that it's a little more centered here. I'm gonna add some flowers in here. So here's that little filler flower. And I'm going to start out with a yellow. This is a bright yellow. This is number 993. And I'm just gonna ink this, kind of ink it in a circle. I'm gonna kind of walk it around in a circle. I wanna make sure that I get a good, amount of ink on here. And I'm not just getting one impression. I don't want it to look like it's a stamp. I want it to look like it's a flower. So now I'm going to just clean that off. So you can just clean it off just like this, or you can use a baby wipe. And now I'm using a purple, a sort of a dusty rose. This is a number 757. And I'm just gonna add another color in here. And you can do as much of this or as little of this as you like. Okay, so now I can come in here with my brush, pinch it off, and now I'm gonna start to just dab. So basically what I'm doing is softening what I've just stamped. Kind of like what we did with the scroll. Only we're not really painting anything, but we're pulling the color out of the lines. And I'm starting with a lighter color first, and then I'm gonna go on to the pink. And I'm just touching it. Doesn't take much water at all. And then I'll go on to the green, and you can see I'm just dabbing. Just kind of jump your brush around and just soften the lines that you've just stamped. So now I'm going to take my palette and I'm going to put a little color on here. So this is a really bright blue. And I'm just going to take some of this and brush it on to the background. I think it adds a lot to brush this into the background. Kind of makes things look more three-dimensional. And I just love all these colors. And you can change this out and maybe have fall colors in some areas. Maybe you can color coordinate the books and change out the colors when you move into another passage. Just so many things that you can do. You can add a little more color in here. You can see how easy this is, just nothing to it. And I love that it's quick too. Okay, so let's add a little color now to the scroll, and I'm going to go back to that dark brown and the dark blue and just put a little bit of that on my palette and just kind of blend these colors together a little bit. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this and just brush it on. Even if you add color to this, you can still see the lines underneath. And some people are just do such a beautiful job with lettering, and I really struggle with that. So I like to have the lines on here. I've never had really nice handwriting, and so I'm always intimidated when I have to write something. So when I can have the lines to help me, that's huge. But don't let that stop you from writing in your Bible. You know, I've always been kind of intimidated because I don't have really pretty writing, but I still write in there. Okay, so I've got some color in here now. Let's just add a little more accent with this little branch. So I'm just going to ink this now in the green and just put a little more in here like this. So you can see up at the top. Can you see that? There we go. So I just added a little bit more up there and maybe another one in here and then down below. You can just do as much, like I said, you can do as much of this as you want. Just a little bit or a lot. And then I like to just go back in here with my fine tip. So the nice thing about these pens is that they have a fine tip and they have a brush tip. And so you can go back in with a fine tip and really get some of these areas that would be really dark. So you can see how that just kind of pops everything up. And if you noticed you've lost a few lines, you know, you really want to accentuate these little rips in the paper, you can do that with your marker. And that is it. It doesn't take very long. Do as much as you want to do. Make it simple. Try it both ways. And then go back to your favorite. And try different colors, you know, different color combinations. It's so fun. Add a few little dots. That also adds a lot. There you go. So we have completed this page. You can turn around now and duplicate it on the other side easily. Just flip your stamp around and do the same. Go through the same steps and try it. And open your Bible up and add something beautiful to it. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and I will see you at the next one.